All right, let's do another one, another simple one. So we have this little guy over here, and you can see my thought process over here. Interesting thing, let's look at this. We can see that, it obviously looks as though it's round. It goes to a point, but we also see a little tiny curve over here. So important to recognize those things. This one also has white on the inside, so it has, different colors, like this little bit of a dye up here. So we could go, to start this one, let's make a stroke. Um, make a stroke of this. Go over here, and we'll go to our ellipse, shift and see what's going on. Shift and alt, shift and alt. And we'll start with that. And let's change the stroke size. 14. 13 looks good. All right, so we'll go into our white arrow here, also known as the direct selection. And we're going to move that one up. Hold down shift now. And we're not going to make it too terribly tall. And then I'm going to go into the pen tool, hold down. Let's do this. Click on this one. Got to do the pen tool. Double click on that. There we go. So looks pretty good, but I still think that there's a little bit of a curve on that. So, and I also think that this one could probably go up just a tad. So holding down shift a little bit. And I can see that it doesn't have that curve right now. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to grab onto this one, and I'm going to move it until it intersects with the center point. And then we have a little bit more. I could also grab this, move this down. Oh, still don't think that looks exactly the way I want. So let's grab this one. Let's move it up a little bit more. And it's intersecting with the bottom of this. So if you want to get something that with smart guides, they'll intersect to a certain point, you could probably just grab a guide and bring it down, and then it will, each one of these guys will snap to it. So that's how you can utilize guides. And once we have that, then basically we just grab it, hold down Alt, grab it, and hold down Shift, move it off to the side until we get the internal negative space that we want. Select both of these guys. Then we could go into the Pathfinder. I think this would work. I don't use the Pathfinder very often, but it's good to know how to use. Oh, yeah, there we go. Ooh, I don't like that. I'm not going to use it because I don't like what it did. So I'm going to use good old shape builder. I'm just going to cut that one out. Then we have these two pieces. And once you have those two pieces, we're going to expand those guys, fill it, and then we're going to go into our shape builder and just bring these guys together. Got something weird down there. There we go. And we have something weird over here. Let's get rid of that. Anything weird down here? All right, looks good. So if we want to get the internal structure with that white, we can just go here, grab white, just put it behind. Don't have to do anything fancy. And I think this is our object. Grab that, put that behind it. And we have that internal white structure. And there you have it. All right, let's make some more draplin logos. So we have here the heart logo, super simple, totally a lot of different ways that one could do it. And I've experimented with a bunch of different ways. But there's one way that comes out that you could probably make it in about a minute. So super fast. We turn on our snap to grid. There we go. And we'll just click on this guy, click it down there. And you can see I've already set up the, the stroke to have a round cap. So you have the round cap just like so. And it's at 14 points. So there's a bunch of other ways that you could do after this. Do you want to expand it? What do you want to do? But I think the easiest way is just to leave it as a stroke and then just go right on over to path, offset path. And here I have, like you saw, it was 14 points for the size of the object. Then and then you add another 4, so we have 18 points, and that's the distance in the middle here. Also notice that the joints are set to round. If we did miter, it would do this squarish thing. So keep it at round, and we'll go OK, and then we want one more. Path, offset path, and there we go. So we have this guy. So there's a few other things that we could do here. Do we select this thing and cut it off and then rotate it? When I found that I selected and cut it off, I wasn't able to get these guys to snap together the way that I wanted to. Other things that you could do, you could probably, maybe I can show just a few different ways to do it, which might be kind of interesting. One way, and I'll keep it live here. Another form of keeping it real, I suppose. One way is I can just grab onto this, hold down Shift, rotate it 45, Control C, paste in place, very handy, Control Shift V. And so there's another one there, and I start rotating it, holding down Shift. And here you can see, like, we have a little bit of a nice Celtic design. We could do something with this. And this is when I would go into expanding it. And now with this one, also some neat things that we could do. We could remove alternating guys over like this. Cool stuff. Or we could do, what we intended to do, which was to get rid of these guys. So a lot of really cool stuff can be done with Shape Builder. You could also use the Pathfinder, and you could do divide, which is super old school. And then we have that. And that's the logo. So super easy. I don't know how long that took. This video is only 3 minutes and 43 seconds so far. Other things that you could do, what else could we do with this? We could try to rotate this path. Control C, Control Shift V, rotate. We have it like this. Then we could go into our Pathfinder, divide it. The only problem is we have that. We just lost this guy here, and it's no longer a round cap. Maybe we need to ungroup it. So you can see that there's a lot of different ways that we could make this happen. This is definitely a more complex way of getting this one done. But, this is all the play of how to make this shape. If we did this, we might play around with it, see what we can do. Like, look at that. That's pretty cool. You have something taken out of it. and you have these little pieces. These pieces are actually really cool. And we might not have found this had we not played around with it. So sometimes little mistakes can actually turn out to be amazing, wonderful elements to design. So don't shy away from actually playing with something and seeing what you can do with it. It's like jazz, I've said a few times. That blue note actually that was a mistake turns out to be like a really awesome sound. So we have interesting, interesting pieces here that we might not have found before we did this. I think by far the most efficient is to do this one over here with the shape builder. All right, there's that one. All right, back to making some more logos. So we have this D logo here, and for all intents and purposes, it looks like a pretty simple logo. But it can be done incorrectly. Like had done over here, you can see that this inner space is just a little bit too much. So it looks a little bit more, squarish in the middle. So I redid it just to see if I could get closer to what Draplin was thinking, and I found that if we have the snap to grid turn on, and we can also get the color of an image even if it is a bitmap that is on your screen, which is pretty neat. And we're going to do a square, and so we have a regular square like that. There's a bunch of different ways that you could actually make this side part rounded. You'll notice that you can pull these guys in, but it does everything. If you click on one and then pull it in, now you look for where it says R and you wait for it to go to 1. There we go. Snaps in there. Go over here. Whoop. Click once. Move it in. Wait for it to go to R. There we go. And now we get that really simple shape. Other times, it could, be done by this, which before you had the little cool little dots things. And we can just drag that in over here. Oop, over here, and then just make it half the size. And that's the same exact thing to shape build that whole thing together. So we have this guy. Now, how do we get it so that it's going to, go all the way around and all that kind of jazz? So there's a bunch of different ways that we can do that. Let's switch this around and turn. So I flipped the stroke. Let's see what we have here. We have that looks pretty good, but I want to make it a little bit bigger in the middle. So we have 68. I like that look. I think that's a good stroke. And so it's just a path. So obviously we're going to turn off our snap to grid. We'll go to path, offset path, and here I have the number already. So 68 points, and let's see a distance between the whole thing of 4 points. So too small, I don't like that. So we'll do 68 points plus 8 points. Getting bigger, I like that better. 68 points plus 10 points. That's getting better. 68 points plus 12 points. And I like that one the best. So now we have that guy. It's already set up that it's 68 plus 12 points. And I just, I was just eyeballing that to see what aesthetically seemed more pleasing. And I'll go into path, offset path again. And we have the same thing set up. So now we have the start of the whole thing. And there's a bunch of different things that you can play with. You can see I was playing with some interesting ideas over there. The most efficient way, I think, the quickest way to get this one done is just to go right in there. We have some lovely paths. We could try to do something fancy with changing the paths so that they behaved properly, but it didn't particularly work for me on that. So I just expanded the appearance. Now I have this whole thing, and now I can make sure that the snap to grid is off. I just go into the rectangle tool, And using the smart guides, I'm just going to put some rectangles in here. And these guys should be 10 points, or 12. I'm going to take this last one, because I have no place to reference it down here, and I just duplicate it. Make sure it's touching that part over there. That way, when I select all of these guys here, I can go into the shape builder. I'm going to first connect these guys, connect these. Oop, that's already connected. And then just subtract these. And there you have it. Nice reproduction. So here's a last one that's pretty interesting. And the neat thing about this guy is that it uses outlines as the way to create an interlocking system. So this is very handy, and you don't have to make sure that the lines are matching or anything like that. It's like I've said before, you let Illustrator do the work for you. So let's create this one, and we're just going to hold down Alt so we can get it so that it's top and bottom are similar. And then we go, let's get the color for the stroke. And flip that around. And we have the stroke size. Pretty good. Then we go into our pen tool. Select this guy. And let's add pen tool. I said pen tool. We're in different languages. The pen tool. Go in there. And we're going to add some parts for this little bubble thing. Put it down about over here. Then we'll add another one right in the middle. And then we're going to click right in the middle one. And we're going to bring that guy out. Want it to go about over here. And then I'm going to double click on these guys. In the with Alt held down. Move this over here, double click on this. So everything's pointed now. But what I can do is I can go in here, I can round that out. And I can round this guy out. This one I'm going to just round out on its own. And pen tool. I don't really like how this guy is turned out. I want it to be a little bit more rounded. So I'm going to make sure that the handles are pretty close. And then I want to give a little bit of a curvature to these guys. So I hold down to Alt and I bring this down a little bit. Hold on Alt and bring that out a little bit. All right, so we have that going. And now, and let's make sure that it looks nice and round and everything's good. So here's where we do a little trick. I've tried a lot of different ways of doing like an outline around the whole thing and haven't found anything just as easy as this. So we press Control C, Control Shift V for paste in place. And let's click on the one below it. And then we're going to change the stroke to black. And then we're just going to increase the size of the stroke. And it comes out from behind it. So this is really handy because when we select it, and then we move it around, we'll go over here. We're not going to turn it into, let's make it a little bigger. We're not going to turn it into a, expand it yet because we want the strokes to stay the same. If I were to expand it now, Notice how when the strokes, when I make it smaller, no, it's not doing it. Yeah, there we go. Now, if I make the thing smaller like that, notice how the strokes themselves stay small. But before I expanded it and I went to change it, the stroke actually stayed the same size. So that's what we want, is we want that same distance. These little strange nitpicky things. So we're going to grab this, bring it up here. Let's group it. Let's reflect it. Okay. Just say okay. And then we're going to hold down Alt and Shift, and we're going to make it a little smaller so we can make it interlocking. Then we'll grab it here with Shift held down. We'll reflect it again. We're going to put it inside. This one will be ever so slightly smaller. So now we have all these opportunities for roads. So you can think of it like a Los Angeles freeway where things are crossing over itself. A little clover pattern. And once we have all these guys set, then we can go in here and we can select expand appearance. We can select expand. And now we have all these possibilities. So here's where we look at our design. And we figure out which ones go on top of which ones. So selecting these guys. And we go to our shape builder. Now, this one doesn't have anything in it, so I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to do this right the first time. Yep, that's right. So what we need to do is we need to grab that color. So we deselect everything, and then we're going to grab the black. There we go. And then we go into the selection mode. And the reason why we do that is because the shape builder cares what's inside of the inside the color panel. There we go. So we have black, and we're going to do this black one over here. And then this one over here, we're going to draw this direction, this direction. It's interesting that that did that. And then over here, we're going to draw in this direction. Oops. This direction. That one. And this one's good. That one's good. That one, that one, that one. And that one, I think, have them all set up. Now we just need to make sure that the other direction is good. So we want to grab the blue color. And we select the whole thing. Go into our shape builder. And then we're going to go from here over here. And it does the blue color. This one goes from here over here. That one's good. And then this one. Wait. Yeah. Nope. We did that one wrong. I did that one wrong. I'm not going to pull you into my web of lies. And then that one, and that one, that one, and that one. So got that one wrong there. So you have to fix that one. It's this guy. then we just need to fix that guy. Need to grab the blue color. Like that. Select everything. Shape builder. There. So now it's all interlocking. And so we have the interlocking pattern, but what if we don't want to have all the black in the background? So for instance, if I put a black background over here like this, yes, that's black, really. No, it's black. Just kidding. You can see that's an interesting pattern as well. But what I want to demonstrate is what happens with black. Now we get the original design over there, which is all cool and stuff. But what if we don't want all the black on there? So for that, now that we've made this whole pattern and everything, we could have done it earlier, but it is good to play around with this. Just grab these and get rid of them. So you can see, and you can experiment with this if you notice that some of the outlines have a real symmetrical appearance outside of them. Sometimes it can be an offset path, and sometimes it can be just an outline. But this is where you let Illustrator help you along with that, because if you were to have to do this, it would get kind of annoying to be, is that the same angle as this one, etc., etc. Whereas finding these happy accidents makes things a lot more accurate. So there's the last one for this.